it's me, GhostCritic, with a midweek comic book haul for you. Thank you for joining me. And in the kind of 2 or so months I've been away, I've been trying to be very good with my back issue collecting, in the sense that the goals, the rules I kind of tried to set myself was that I could only pick up stuff that I am already currently collecting. Didn't always work out that way, and I got rapped on the knuckles by myself a couple of times, because those bits that I shouldn't have picked up, I probably shouldn't have bothered picking up. But when you see stuff at really cheap prices, it's just you give it a go, and sometimes it's a good choice and sometimes it's not. Now, there isn't a great deal here. There is literally that much, so I'm not going to keep you too long. And they come from everywhere, and they're all different prices, but I'm a bargain hunter. I won't pay over the odds for anything, and if I can find something like a 50p comic, then I am grabbing it. So let's have a brief look at what I've been picking up over the last couple of months. We're kicking off, these are in no order, and they're probably out of order as well, because I'm still currently reading through it. That's another kind of rule I'm kind of trying to make for myself. I do have a box of back issues comics that I have yet to get round to reading, and the kind of rule for me is that I need to finish that box of comics off, reading them, before I buy some more. Again, doesn't always work out that way. Right, let's kick off with 2 issues of a 4-issue miniseries from Vertigo Comics. It's the Thessaliad, however you want to pronounce it. Anyone who has been around for a while know I love Sandman, so anything that kind of is incorporated into the Sandman universe, I will pick up and give a go. This had the extra appeal of having Bill Willingham on there. This kind of came out 2002, just before Fables, and you can already tell, I mean, the artist in this isn't, from what I remember, wasn't any part of the Fables universe, but you can still see, kind of like in that shot, hopefully you can see that well, but there is kind of leanings towards the kind of stuff that you were going to get in Fables. I got issue number 2 and issue number 3, so I'm looking for 1 and 4 now. Like I say, if I ever see anything that's connected to the Sandman universe, these one-shots or these little mini-series, I will pick them up. I really enjoy them. Again, this is one I picked up. It was fun for what it was. JSA All Stars issue number 1, written by who was doing this at the time? I should, say I'm out of practice on this. I'm kind of all over the place, and I should have done this beforehand. David Goyer and Jeff Johns are writing this with Sal Velluto. This is again one of those kind of legacy type deals. I mean, there's some great artwork here. There's some great kind of double page shots there with all your JSA stars in there. It was fun. Again, it was probably really cheap, which is why I picked it up. I may, if I see them, pick it up again, but it's not something on the top of my list to buy. From DC Comics, part of their kind of first wave line that they did for a while, from Mark Schultz, it's The Spirit. I do like these kind of, not necessarily reimagining or homages, but it's just a different kind of version, but kind of keeping to the core of what was originally Will Eisner's The Spirit, but really enjoyed that. And I have quite a few of those, so this wasn't so much I shouldn't really be picking this up. I do have a few of them, and it'd be nice to have it all collected in one, because I'm a comic book collector and I have an addiction. I was super excited to find this, and it was incredibly cheap. I've seen these around before and I'm like, I'm not going to pay £5 for this, but I managed to finally find issue number 1 of Grendel from Comico. I've only got a few more of those to collect now to finish that whole run. The start of this, because I picked up Grendel much later on after this storyline where I've forgotten his name. I want to say Matt Wagner. Yes, I am right. Well, Matt Wagner kind of started playing around with storytelling and didn't just focus on this one character on here, but super stoked to find that. I always pick up any X-Men related title that I'm currently collecting, so Uncanny, just adjectiveless X-Men, X-Force, all that kind of stuff. So it was nice to find issue 500 of Uncanny X-Men, a double page wraparound cover there, which was kind of nice. I'm talking about adjectiveless X-Men, issue number 199. The extra appeal to me, Chris Picciello on artwork. Love his art. From Dark Horse, gradually chipping away. For some reason, these are much harder to find, despite the fact that they are very recent. It's Conan the Avenger, issue number 21. Love that cover, kind of reminiscent of that Uncanny X-Men cover with Wolverine, or kind of nailed up on that cross for you budding X-Files out there. I do pick these up. I used to collect this. For some reason I stopped. Probably because I stopped collecting comics altogether for financial reasons. But I'm slowly chipping away at JLA Unclassified. It's just like, you know, the JLA stories that apparently you didn't know about. I love a good team book, and when it's like your big top tier superheroes are involved as well, extra nice. I had a few of these not so long ago, so I was happy to find some more of an old one. This has got to be 80s. There's no date on this, is there? No, but Night Force. If you're kind of digging JL Dark, that's currently doing the rounds over at DC, this is kind of akin to this, except it's not like your big kind of DC characters, but Gene Colan and Giordano were on this book, and they were doing great stuff. It's very dark. It feels kind of adult, despite the fact, you know, it's just a kind of regular DC title. This isn't kind of under a Vertigo umbrella or anything like that. But it just feels very dark and very adult themed, and I've just been lapping these up. Great stuff. And I also managed to find issue number 12 as well. Not quite sure how many issues that went, but that's one of the titles that wasn't necessarily on my list of wants and needs, but has found a way onto it. I've been picking up these DC 1 million issues when I find them. This is one of those ones that I think, have I already got this one or not? I can't remember, but I picked it up anyway. It must have been super cheap for me to do that and not worry that I had already got it. But that's another addition to that kind of event that DC had. Managed to finish off a little mini series from Marvel. It's the Inhumans. I had issue 1 and issue 4, and I managed to find issue 2 and issue number 3, so I can now read that whole storyline in its entirety and have some fun. Always happy to find some old Uncanny X-Men. When we say Uncanny X-Men, we're talking the end of '89, the 80s. So we have issue number 252 of Uncanny X-Men, and also issue 272, which was part of the Extinction Agenda storyline. This was one, again, I wasn't sure whether I had or not. I need to check, I haven't actually looked, but it's X-Men Annual number 14 with the Power Pack getting involved there. It'll be a fun read nonetheless. This is what happens when you don't write things down. I thought this was the only issue I needed of the Prestige format from Jim Starlin, Gilgamesh 2. This was volume 4. I could have sworn this was the one I didn't have, but I do. It's volume 3 I need to find, and I was kind of super excited because I haven't touched this series. I thought, oh great, I can finally read this in its full entirety. No, I can't. So that's kind of going on some pile. I picked this up, and I don't normally do this just for the cover. It's one of those kind of holding a dead person in their arms deal, but it's Legion of Superheroes number 296. Legion of Superheroes isn't necessarily a title I would normally pick up or collect or think about collecting, though people like, I think it's Tim Howler-Mouse, he has a big thing for this team. I don't know whether this is kind of the era that he's into, but I just love the cover. I love, you see this kind of homaged, parodied, all that stuff in many issues running throughout DC, but I just dug it, so I bought it. Another issue of Grendel knocking out another gap, number 4. Now we're coming. This was one this was a bad choice. It must have been super cheap. I kind of looked at the cover, and I don't know why, but I kind of got a Richard Corbin vibe from it. I don't honestly think now that it is. I kind of looked in the back, in the titles and the credits, and can't see any naming of him. And quite frankly, once I'd opened it, I was like, oh, this is going in the bin. It's very kind of underground, unfinished, pretty scrappy looking. It was obviously wrapped up and I couldn't open it to know what was inside. But like I said, the cover just kind of, I don't know, it was kind of like the facial structure there. It was kind of Corbin-esque, but it's not. It's really not. There was a series at Marvel, Universe X and Paradise X, and there was a lot of offshoots on that, and I've kind of been collecting all around it. I managed to get the last issue of the 3 mini-series of Heralds. Kind of like this, I guess it's an alternative universe type of storyline. I think this is the one where the heroes that are dead, they're trying to bring to this kind of utopian universe, and it's fun. It's very kind of history laden of Marvel, with a few little twists for this alternative universe, but it's fun nonetheless. Oh, another Conan the Avenger, issue number 22, filling another gap there. And finally, for 2 issues, filling in some gaps from the Vertigo series, again by Matt Wagner, Sandman Mystery Theatre. This is issue number 33. Really enjoyed this series. Looking back at kind of, is it the 1920s, and then coming up as we go, and dealing with, racism, it's all the isms going on in here. I don't honestly know, in our kind of politically correct society that we're living in now, that this book would probably survive today, despite what it's trying to do is highlight, you know, the negative history of racism and sexism and all the isms, in an interesting way, whether it's kind of like detective, murder, suicide, you know, storylines, but I really enjoyed it. It's pure Vertigo, really kind of pushing some buttons. And finally, issue number 51 from the same series. Not many of them to go. And so that's really all I've collected over the last couple of months. I was good, my wallet was happy with me for a change. We'll see what the new year brings in. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. I still don't know what the new year is going to bring. I kind of want to do videos, but I think they will be incredibly sporadic and only as and when I really want to do them. So keep that button firmly pressed on the subscribe button. Give this video a big thumbs up and comment down below with anything you want to say. Maybe just say hello and I'll say hello back. Thank you for watching again. Bye bye.